to Wildwood Cottage and welcome back to Wales. My name's Hazel and this is my cottage diary about my garden, my house, all the different things that I get up to around here. Welcome if you're a new viewer. It's lovely to have you here. It's always lovely to see new people coming along and seeing the comments in the comments section below, so do keep commenting. Sorry if you're a bit skew-whiff today, but you're stacked up on all my seed boxes. And we're back in the greenhouse. So it's finally stopped raining. Do you know, it's the last week in April and I've got the fire on. I can't believe I've still got to have the fire on. But I got up this morning and I felt really cold. So I've had the fire on and it's now lunchtime, about 12:15, and you know, I've just been sat in front of the fire doing some spinning, and I've been spinning some wool and watching a couple of YouTube videos to try and get myself inspired for doing things around here. So what I thought we'd do now is, I've got the chicken tractor set up, so I'm going to put the chickens in there and I'll show you them in there. But I thought we'd have a little look around the new patch and see where the greenhouse is going to move to, because where I am in the greenhouse is where the polytunnel's going. And I thought I'd show you all the plans I've got for my polytunnel. So I'm hoping to order that this week, so that should be here next week. But it's a double bank holiday next week. We've got the May bank holiday for May Day, which is actually May the 1st, which doesn't happen very often that it falls on that day. So we've got that on Monday, and then the following, on the Friday, the Saturday and the Sunday, it's the coronation weekend for King Charles's coronation. So we've got two bank holidays, one on the Monday and one on the Friday. So I'm hoping the polytunnel will come in between that, but it may be the week after. But I'm hoping that for the rest of this week to get this space sorted out. I've got quite a busy week coming up externally away from the house. But I'm hoping in my time where I am here to get this space sorted out and get ready for the polytunnel. I've also got to put my broad beans in this week because they're growing out of the box, so they need to go in. I've got potatoes that are still to go in, and my beetroot is growing nicely. I'll show you my beetroot. These are doing really well. These were a cheap packet from the pound shop, so they all need to be moved out because they're growing really well. And I moved on my, if I can find them, this is my spinach, which has done really well, so they've now all been transplanted into a bigger tray. So we've got some food coming on. Thankfully the mice are leaving my greenhouse alone at the moment, but everything is under cover. It's all under propagators. My tomatoes are doing really well, and so are my cucumbers. They're growing slowly, simply because the weather's so cold. But they have got their first true leaves on them, so they should be okay. I've got two cucumbers. I might cheat, because it's so late in the season, I might cheat and I might buy some plants for cucumbers and watermelons. What else have I got to show you? Everything's just growing really slow. I've got my cherry tomatoes, which are coming on slowly. So yeah, I'm persevering, but we're still in single figures. And as I say, it's the end of April and it's not getting up any warmer than 10 or 11 degrees, and it should be like 15, 20 degrees at this time of year. I mean, a lot of the time we get a really nice spring and we get really hot temperatures and I can't do anything. But this year I can't do anything because it's so cold and so wet. But anyway, I'm moaning again. Let's get stuck into the garden. So I'm going to switch the camera around. We're going to have a little look in the new patch. We're going to get the chickens and install them in their new little chicken tractor for the day. And I'm going to show you what I'm doing with the greenhouse and what I'm showing with the hedge that is in the middle of the way where the polytunnel's going. So I'll see you in a minute. Right, so the chickens are in their chicken tractor. They weren't in here yesterday because it was raining, and I didn't come out the house yesterday because it was raining, but they're all safely installed. Pip was just having a grumbly day, so ignore her. She is happy. She's just come out the broody stage. She's been doing her pip, sitting on the eggs for the last week, and now she's decided that she just wants to be a grump and she doesn't want to do that anymore, so just ignore her noise. It's quite a long chicken tractor. It's about 2.5 metres long, 2 metres long. It's got handles here so I can drag it. I need the same on the other end so I can pull it at the other end as well. But as you can see, they're doing a nice job. Scratching and all sorts of things like that, getting all the weeds. You see she's making light work of those nettles there, so be able to get them out nice and easy. And then this is the new patch. It's all nicely fenced off. It goes from the existing fence of the garden, which is this fence here, and then it goes all the way along there. I've got another fence post to put in, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But it goes all the way along here, and then it's quite long. It's probably about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, probably about 10 metres long. So we'll walk along. As you can see, there's lots of nettle and lots of bramble. This hypenicum here, I want to take and use that along the fence line. But most of it is rubbish, most of it is brambles. There is some ferns, I might put them in the woodland bit up the back. But yeah, most of it is rubbish, so I'm hoping the hens are going to do a good job for me. There is a bit of grass, which I'm hoping that they'll get out for me as well. This is the farmer's field, and this is where he puts the cows. The fence posts are very sturdy, just got to put the chicken wire along the top and along the middle here. I'm putting chicken wire at the bottom here, and this is just to keep the rabbits out, because we do have hares and we do have rabbits here, so I've got to net that off, because I have noticed that they are getting into my garden, and they have been getting my flowers, my flower plants. So I do need to put it all the way along the bottom here, and I've done halfway along the bottom there to that end. So that's that. This is what I'm using, this old chicken wire here. It's just old gnarly stuff. I'm cutting it in half, and then I'm just tying it onto the fence along the bottom. So that's that. This is our drain, and this is the whole reason why I wanted to use this patch, or one of them anyway. I wanted to use it because it's a good extension to the garden, but also it means we can keep this drain cover nice and clear, nice and free, and put a plant pot on the top of it, and we'll be able to get into the drain if we need to, because that leads into our septic tank that leads from the house. We've got a drain cover near the house, we've got this one, and then it goes down to the septic tank. So yeah, we did have trouble with that when we first moved in, so that's the whole reason for the new cap on here. We've had a new pipe put in, and it'd just be nice to be able to keep an eye on it and make sure that everything's okay with it. So that's that. So this is looking back to the greenhouse. I'm at the end now, and this is looking back to the greenhouse 10 metres back, and this spot here all the way along to this fence here is where the polytunnel is going to go. Now the polytunnel is 15 foot long, so this hedge here has all got to come out. The greenhouse is going to be moved, and this hedge here all needs to come out because it's right in the way of where the polytunnel's going. Now you've probably noticed that the ground is on a slope. It kind of goes on a slope like that. It goes up probably about a metre at that end compared to that end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shore it up and build like a retaining wall out of old fence posts. Now I'll just show you them. I've got these fence posts that the farmer was putting in the bonfire. They're rounded on one side, and then on the other side they're flat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stack them like a raised bed, as if it was a raised bed. Just show you. One on top of the other like that, probably about 4 high. And I'm going to start roughly where the chickens are, the edge of the chicken run here, all the way along here, and then this is going to be shored up. And then it's going to be shored up to the edge of the fence there, because what I don't want to do is I don't want to put the polytunnel in and find that as I'm walking up and down and as I'm using it, that the soil starts slipping away down the bank, and I end up having to walk down a slope in the greenhouse. I don't want that, because it's bad for your knees, bad for your feet, and bad for your hips. I seen what happened to the elderly lady I used to look after that I spoke about the other day, who had the cancer on her head. And she had really bad leg. She broke her foot in the garden and she never recovered, and she really struggled. She said to me, I always struggled with the hill, and I know the elderly gentleman that was here, he always struggled with his knees and his hips because he gardened on a slope. So what I want to do is to level it all off, and then with the retaining wall from roughly where the hedge starts here all the way along, and then back up where the chickens are, and that should hold all the earth up. Well, that's the plan anyway, so I'm not too bothered about the rest because I can always level that off and do a level path. I'm not really bothered about that, but as you can see, I've got this beautiful wall here, and the birds nest in it and the wildlife nests in it, so it's a lovely wall. I'm not sure if there's bats in there as well. I know there's a stoat in there, so I'm not going to clear that. I'm going to leave it as it is, but I'm going to grow fruit along it. I've got some pillar fruit trees to go in, and I was wondering whether to put them along the wall there. I've also got 2 fig and 2 kiwi jenny, so I'm wondering whether to pop them along that wall there. I can always put fleece over the top in the winter to protect them, and anchor it into the ground and attach it to bricks over the wall. So that's my plan for that. So my first task is this. I've got to move the greenhouse. I can't do anything else until I've moved the greenhouse. There's no point in me trying to move the hedge until I've done the greenhouse. There's no point in me trying to square up this earth until I've moved the greenhouse, because I won't know what I'm working with, what the soil's like or anything until I've moved that greenhouse. In this hedge here there is a lot of cuttings, a lot of the branches that you can see are rooted into the ground. So what my hope is to be able to take those cuttings, keep the height, but take some of the cuttings and pop them along the fence line here to distract the cows. And this variegated one here, I want to take cuttings off that and use that along the fence line as well, again to distract the cows, because here I've got plants, and last year every time the cows walked past they took a really big munch of my buddleia and my other plants, which is why they're growing on an angle. Let me just see if I can zoom you in. They all grow on an angle, and that's because the cows were on one side munching on it and they grew on the other. So I want to try and stop that, because I would like to grow things along the fence line. So that is another task that I've got to sort out. I don't know if the farmer's going to put them back, because one year he didn't, the second year we were here he didn't, the first year we were here he did. So I don't know, we'll have to see. So at least if I'm prepared for them, then yeah, the fence post took me a whole afternoon to do, and the fence took me a whole afternoon to do as well. So I think I'm ready. Right, I'll just go and show you where the greenhouse is going to go now. So we'll just make our way back up. As you can see, loads of nettles, loads of brambles. I've got to get these fence posts out. This one's loose already. I've been putting them back in so nothing falls in the hole. This is all going to stay here. I'm going to leave this because I don't want to put the polytunnel right up against the wall. I want the stoat to still be able to get in, because he lives down there. So we've got a little hole and he comes out down there somewhere. I found a little burrow and I think he's living under there, because all this nice loose earth here, this stuff, that's how a stoat leaves the earth when he's digging. And I think he's got a tunnel all the way along here, down there, and then out the field. I've just discovered this. So we'll need to keep that in mind for the stoat, because he's obviously still here. You can see all the earth he's tunnelled up. He's lovely soil. He's a great gardener. So yeah, he's obviously still here. I thought he'd gone, but looking at that soil, he's obviously moved back in. Apparently they have 2 or 3 nests where they live throughout the year, apparently. So yeah, I'm going to keep this bed here as it is. All this has got to come down, but it will go back up once the polytunnel's up, because I have my passion fruit on there. I'm not sure if that's going to come back. It looks like it's gone, but I do have 2 more to put in. This raised bed here's got to come out, but as you can see I tried to shore up the earth here to stop it moving, but the greenhouse has still dropped. It's still dropped on that side. So yeah, all this has got to come out as well. I've got some stray raspberries I've got to get out. They were from the raspberry canes I moved. So I'm going to move them and put them back together. All this has got to go. This is that hedge I was just talking about. All this has got to go. Sorry, all this has got to go. All this here has got to go. Because again, this is where the polytunnel is going to come to. It's going to come roughly to about here. To the end of the hedge. Back up there to the beginning of the greenhouse. So it's going to be a good size. These are the plants that the cows eat when they're munching and grazing along the fence there. So this is the one that they chewed all one side, but they couldn't get to this side. So, and that buddleia there. This poor buddleia here got munched to bits. So yeah, I've got to try and sort that out. Now, I don't know whether you remember, but this is where I moved my raspberries to. Now these have done really, really well. Looking at them, they've really enjoyed the weather, really enjoyed the rain, got loads of flowers on them, but they need to move. Because this is where I'm going to put my greenhouse, and I'm going to put it here, and I'm thinking of leaving it here. I've got a bench there. Now you're probably saying, what do you need the extra space for when you've got a polytunnel? Well, it's just nice to have the extra space. Now I can sit here and I can still see the view, even with the greenhouse here. It's going to have a little fence along it, because we do have little children that run up and down when our friends come, and I wouldn't want them to fall through the glass. But this will fit nicely in this little patch here. So I'm thinking of leaving these two beds as they are. I'll need to pinch some soil for the raspberries to go back in up the other end of the garden, which I'm going to show you in a minute. But yeah, I might see if I can do something with these beds the way they are and just plop the greenhouse on the top. So this is my Philadelphus. It's doing really, really well. It's coming back nicely now. It's a bit slow, but that's because we're having cold weather. You see my Kearberry just here. It's doing really well. Had berries on it last year, but the birds ate the lot. So yeah, all these raspberries are going to get moved now. I'm going to move them today. We're going to try and sort this spot out, and I'm going to try and get the greenhouse moved today now while it's dry. That's the plan anyway, because I think it'll be quite sheltered here. I've got this tree here, and then I've got this hornbeam here, which is beautiful. I might try taking cuttings and move that around the garden as well. But yeah, it'll be exposed to the sun but suitably sheltered from the wind, I think. Better than over there anyway. So yeah, so this is where I'm hoping to put it. Veg garden hasn't been touched yet because I need to pull the greenhouse across the ground, and I don't want to put anything in until the greenhouse has been moved, because it's going to have to come straight across here. Chickens have done a really good job in here. This is the fruit cage. The wind battered it, but I've moved them out now because they were eating all the flowers on the currants, and I wanted the fruit. So yeah, at least the birds can't get in, which seems to be good. But yeah, I'm thinking of not doing it as a fruit cage. I'm thinking of just doing straight up, and I think that'll be a lot better, a lot less for the wind to play havoc with. But have you seen all the currant flowers I've got on my bushes? Got loads of them. That one at the back there is absolutely teeming. So yeah, this is where the chickens usually live, but in the daytime they're going to be out down the bottom. I've raised the fencing wire. We did that in the day in the life video the other day, thinking I still need something along the top, so I'm thinking of using branches to try and keep the cows off, because I want to grow things in this soil here. I've got a blackcurrant there, a thornless blackberry, so I want to grow that there. But this is where the polytunnel was going to go, and I'm going to make this now into a veg and flower patch, and the raspberries are going to go in here. Because what I'm going to do is, at the back here there's a pink board, and the chickens are going to have a tunnel coming out of there, going up there, and then where all that wood is there, they're going to have a run, and they're going to be able to faff about in there, and then they can come out of that side, and they'll be able to come along and down here eventually. If I've got enough chicken wire, that's the plan. So they can have all this area here, They can be out in the daytime. I don't need to be with them. They'll be suitably fenced in from birds of prey, foxes, whatever, and they'll just be able to roam free. It'll be an awful lot better for them. So where I was thinking of putting the raspberries eventually is here. There did used to be a fence along here, and I'm wondering whether to put that back. I've been kind of toying with the idea of putting that back. It's over by the house at the moment, but yeah, I don't know. Haven't decided yet. But there will be something here anyway. I've got plants I want to put in, flowering plants I want to put in, and I've got plenty of wood for building raised beds. But I'm not sure I want to do the whole raised bed thing here. Haven't decided yet. I might do raised beds some here, and then a border along there. But for now, this wooden thing here, this bed here, I'm just going to put the raspberries in there for now. There's enough soil in there for them. And then at the end of the season I'll sort them out again later. Because there's a lot of work to do down this bit, and as you can see the grass is starting to come back, and I quite like that. It kind of makes it part of the garden. So before the chickens can have this patch, all that's got to be cleared. But I want to get the polytunnel done first and get that up, get food growing, and then I can sort all that out in the summer. There is a field apple that sprouts up here. So I'm thinking of leaving that and then let that grow up as a canopy. It'll grow very quick. But the raspberries could go along here. So just for today I'm going to take them out. And then we'll sort that out later. So as you can see, there's a lot to do, as usual. So the sun looks like it wants to come out. I've even got my hat on still, end of April, and I'm still in a woolly hat. Can't believe it. So yeah, that's my plans for today. I'm going to get stuck in and try and get that hedge out, get the greenhouse moved, get the raspberries moved, and see where we go from there. I'm hoping to get the polytunnel, as I say, ordered tomorrow. So then hopefully that could be here by the end of the week potentially, which would be fantastic if it does. Because then I've got next week to put it up. Very exciting. So yeah, it's all coming together nicely. I just thought I'd show you the new patch, show you the hens in their chicken tractor, and show you where the greenhouse is going to be on the move too. So I'm going to go now. So if you have enjoyed my video, please like, subscribe, hit that bell, keep up to date with what's happening here at Wildwood Cottage, and I will see you all again soon. So enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you soon. Oh, just before you go, the swallows are back in the garage as well, so if I can get some footage of them for you, I'll show you. So I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Bye bye.